Well. Hasn't this been a very, very full day today? I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but I know that it is below freezing right now. Matter of fact, it reminds me the weather outside, and I haven't been outside, but the weather outside reminds me of when my family and I were in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol on Capitol Hill in January 20th, 2009, for the initial inauguration of President Barack Obama. I mean, it was absolutely cold. Matter of fact, it was so cold that it was sub-freezing. It was about, I think, 13 or 14 degrees. And amazingly, and this is, I don't think it was my imagination, but as soon as he said, "So help me God," it seemed as though the temperature dropped another 3 or 4 degrees into the single digits. It was absolutely cold. Hopefully, you are secure, you are safe, you are warm where you are. I am warm where I am, and just happy to be here. This has been a good journey, and I want to thank particularly my coach and videographer, Javen Cornelius, to help to get me started in this whole world. Quite honestly, this has been a ministry that I've dreamed about, never knew how it was going to happen, but it has happened. I hope that you are tuning in from wherever you are. This is going to become a regular feature. This is how we begin by beginning. Um, and just happy that you're here. A lot of history has converged on this day, the 21st, the 20th rather, of January 2025. Um, this is going to be an exciting journey for us. I hope that you stay with us and stay with me throughout. I've got some things to share with you, and I look forward to getting some information back from you. This is the inaugural episode of the Tim Allston Show. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Allston. I'm your host, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the very, very first episode, the inaugural episode of the Tim Allston Show on the inaugural day today. Here on the Tim Allston Show, we aim to educate, empower, and equip emerging leaders like you with God-thought, God-inspired leadership principles to create positive change in your communities and beyond. Today, January 25th, 2025, is an extraordinary day, has been an extraordinary day, and can continue to be an extraordinary day, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. It is the one that represents the intersection of three monumental milestones. Let me tell you why this date is so significant. First, as many of you know, today is the national holiday celebrating the life and legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, Dr. King was not just a civil rights leader. He was a prophet. Yes, a prophet. By definition, a prophet is both an inspired teacher and a forecaster of the future. And Dr. King was arguably the only prophet that 20th century America produced. Challenge me, if you will. A 1999 poll ranked his 1963 I Have a Dream speech as the greatest American speech of the 20th century, and possibly the greatest in the English language, period. That's what those pollsters said. That's what the poll said of those professors and of those writers and of those men and women who were speech writers and who were teachers and commentators on public address. His leadership in the civil rights movement, Dr. King, didn't just change laws, although it did change laws. It inspired movements worldwide, movements such as the women's lib movement, to the environmental movement, to the LGBTQ plus rights movement. And his dream was arguably the first blueprint for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the United States. Every time, for example, every time you see diverse faces on TV newsrooms, in classrooms, and in boardrooms, you're witnessing Dr. King's legacy in action. We owe him an immeasurable debt of gratitude. Second, A second milestone. Today also marks another historic moment. Vice President Kamala Harris, at noontime, concluded her tenure as the highest ranking woman of color in U.S. history. Kamala Harris, the daughter of an African American father and an Indian mother, South Indian mother, shattered the ceilings and became a global symbol of progress. Her legacy, her trailblazing, must not end with the 2024 election. And now there's milestone number 3. Now, after Kamala Harris concluded her tenure as Vice President for the United States, roughly some 7 hours later, almost minutes from now, and roughly 700 miles away in Atlanta, Georgia, another trailblazer took the stage. Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame, will become the first person of color to lead a team into the college football playoffs national championship. Like Vice President Kamala Harris, Marcus Freeman is the son of an African American father and an Asian mother, South Korean to be more specific. And he's a walking embodiment of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let me share something important with you. For America to move forward, we must resist the urge to reduce Kamala Harris's achievements to a fleeting chapter in our history. We've seen this before. Names like Tiny Tim, Bo Belinsky, or Brian Bosworth, sensations of their time, are now punchlines. Even William E. Miller, the 1964 Republican vice presidential nominee, became a joke in a famous American Express commercial. Do you know me? We cannot allow Kamala Harris to become another forgotten name. Her 2024 campaign wasn't just a moment, it was a movement. Look at it this way. In 103 days, Kamala Harris broke fundraising records, raising $1.5 billion, with a B, billion dollars. She also reached across party lines with unprecedented crossover appeal. She became a global icon for women's empowerment, and she revolutionized campaigning as the Queen of Zoom, with her hosting 53 virtual fundraising and friend-raising calls. Kamala Harris may rest for now, but the hope and the progress that she ignited will not sleep. Whether she becomes a university president, or leads a think tank, or runs again in 2028, her legacy is alive and it's growing. You know, Kamala Harris's legacy reminds me of a story from the Bible found in Matthew 9. A synagogue leader named Jairus begged Jesus to heal his dying daughter. Before they could reach her, news came that she had already died. But Jesus responded in Matthew 9, verse 4, "She is not dead, but she is asleep." Despite the paid mourners' laughter and disbelief, Jesus entered her room, prayed, and brought her back to life. For you and me as emerging leaders, this story teaches us 3 critical lessons. Number 1, preserve what is valuable. Don't let doubt destroy legacies. Number 2, a temporary setback is not the end. Death, defeat, or loss can be a mirror that reveals our disbelief. And number 3, focus on God's solutions, not man's limitations. Let me say that last one again. Focus on God's solutions, not man's limitations. Kamala Harris's campaign is not dead. Instead, it's a foundation. Like Jairus' daughter, her message of hope and perseverance can and will rise again. Just as Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1946 by creating a legacy that lives on in every trailblazer that is dubbed a Jackie Robinson, Kamala Harris and Marcus Freeman represent new paradigms. Future pioneers of color will be called Kamalas and Marcuses. These names will symbolize perseverance, progress, and excellence. As we celebrate the legacy of Dr. King, Kamala Harris, and Marcus Freeman, let's challenge ourselves to carry their lessons into our own lives. Together, we can break through racism, elitism, classism, and sexism, just like they did. Thank you for joining me on this journey. My hope is that the Tim Allston Show becomes your weekly guide for inspiration and action. If this message resonates with you, don't just listen. Subscribe, like, and share. For more information or to contact me directly, email info@timallston.com. Until next time, remember, if this message is becoming to you, then you should be coming to us. Take care, and God bless.